All these MAGAs screaming and crying in their cars with their backward baseball caps, yelling, "This is it, this is war, we ride at dawn," to wear a Cracker Barrel? To do what? Be violent? You already are. I'm not even gonna waste numbers and statistics proving that the majority of incidents in this country come from right-wing extremists because facts and figures hurt your feelings. But I am going to say that I am absolutely fascinated at all this energy and outrage for a grifter who was paid millions of dollars by the Koch brothers to lie and spread hatred and division every day. Because where is all that energy for first graders sitting quietly in a classroom or in a church? I don't see a single performative tear for them. Where are those dry eyeball tears for Democratic lawmakers and their family and their dog sleeping peacefully in their homes? Not a single tear for Capitol Police officers on January 6th? No, but now it's very convenient for you because now you get to put all of your energy into hating one half of the country instead of putting your energy into where it should be going, which is like, for example, you're all losing your farms just so a company that Couchboy invested in can buy them up on the cheap. And the orange clown that you worship is all over those files and all over a very disturbing birthday book. And meanwhile, this regime that you have given up everything for is promising you transparency while playing directly in your face. Because the orange clown is sitting there just this morning at a memorial with what can only be described as very severe stroke face. He can barely keep his eyes open. And meanwhile, this regime releases a very bizarrely edited and very suspiciously AI-looking video of the orange clown suddenly sitting there speaking very coherently about this tragedy. I personally would be outraged by that. But I didn't vote for this. And while you were so conveniently outraged, let me remind you this happened in a very red state with very loose laws where you can conceal and carry in a school. We did not do that. And while you all twist yourselves into pretzels, wanting to believe that all of the people that you hate support what happened, let me remind you it's not relevant. Because at the end of the day, Charlie supported what happened. And so do you.
Republicans legit voted to be treated like they were black in America. That's what they voted for. They thought they were voting based on hatred and racism and bigotry, but no, they voted so that they could be treated like black people in America, except for they're not black, and they think that their skin tone will help save them, but it will not. So I just watched two videos. The first video I'm going to link below. It's a lady talking about the Center for Public Broadcasting being defunded. They're going to have to shut down, even though we tried to save it. But Republicans voted to be treated like black people in America. So all those rural areas that rely on NPR and public broadcasting to receive notices about the weather or what's going on in politics, what their local elected officials are actually doing, yeah, they won't be receiving that information anymore because they voted to be treated like black people in America. That's what they voted for. And also the second video was this lady talking about how she watched 4 documentaries based on Hurricane Katrina and the way that the poor areas were treated. You know, those majority minority areas where black and brown people lived. And all the controversy regarding whether or not the levees broke or whether they were blown up or, you know, all that stuff. They got to, yeah, that's what Republicans voted for. To not receive warnings or have access to healthcare or food assistance. Yeah, all that stuff is what Republicans voted for. Republicans legit voted to be treated like the people that they hate. Because you will have services that are available, except you will not qualify. Not because you're black, but because this regime does not care if you live or die. Your housing assistance is being cut. Your SNAP benefits are being cut. Like, they are going to shut down the hospitals. Which means that people in rural areas that do not have direct access to freaking hospitals, yeah, you will die. Because guess what? It will take hours to get to medical treatment. Or you can, you know, just go into debt and take a helicopter to try to save your life and then spend the rest of your life trying to pay off the medical bills that you accumulate because they're cutting Medicaid, Medicare. Republicans legit voted to be treated like black people in America. And when black people, black women said, y'all, this is what is going to happen, you ignored it. Republicans voted to be treated like black people, and you get to experience exactly what it is like to be black in America. You get to experience the fact that you are paying into Social Security and they are about to privatize it. So that when you are finally able to collect Social Security, there will be nothing there for you. You voted so that your 401k funds can be used by private equity. And that they'll, you know, the dollar's worth literally nothing now. Like the value of the dollar has dropped drastically. Oh, but wait, they're going to be investing in crypto because that's great. Yeah, you can do that. That would be absolutely wonderful. Republicans voted to be treated like black people in America. And what will be catastrophic is when we finally have another election, there will likely be a Democratic candidate who is chosen. And that Democratic candidate will be, the onus will be on them to save democracy and to bring back all of the social safety nets that have been decimated because Republicans voted to be treated like black people in America. It is absolutely disgusting.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. You've just seen some powerful clips of Americans calling out Trump and the MAGA base and Trump's administration for their hypocrisy and broken promises. In this video, I have put together a compilation that shows exactly what people are saying about Medicaid cuts, Charlie Kirk's assassination, and MAGA double standards. Keep watching to see the full picture. Big credits goes to the original creators of these clips. Let's dive in.
As a white Trump supporter, I am scared of this presidency because I have lost my freedom of speech. I have lost my freedom of religion. I have lost my freedom to wear this shirt in the public just because I have a different political view.
Imagine being a part of a group of people who have actively made laws that take away the teaching of the actual history of this country, that discriminate against the gay community, that take women's bodily autonomy away from them, that make it harder for black and brown people to vote, that lets police get away with murder. And then when people call you out for your disgusting beliefs and laws that you have tried to pass or actually have passed, that is taking away your rights.
Liberals love telling me how much Republicans hate Jews.
Today is Sunday, but I think I'm going to sit on this video for a couple of days. You should understand that the party that has gone out of its way to align itself historically with white supremacy does not have your best interest in heart. Like, that's what Germany was all about, right? They will court you for now. Eventually, they're going to turn on you too. Let me just say this. My message then is the same one that it is now. Just a reminder, white supremacy hurts everyone. White supremacy hurts everyone.
White supremacy is a cancer that destroys everything that it touches.
White supremacy hurts everyone. So if your societal philosophy is that diversity is not good and might makes right, an eye for an eye, you can't really complain when someone pokes your eye. You voted for a world where there was no talk about diversity, equity, or inclusion, where minority concerns were no longer the concerns of society. We want this society to look as Aryan as possible. That's what Project 2025 is. That's what he's been implementing. That's what you voted for. These things are beyond contestation. So if you wanted a world that looks like that, it is hypocritical for you to complain that another group is ensuring that you get the world that you voted for. Whether it's because of pressure that they're feeling or vindictiveness, they are facilitating the vision that the person that you voted for had in mind. Why are you complaining now? Is it just because you're being treated like a black person now? Point was this. I just can't believe that this would happen to me. No one saw this come.
This example of MAGA's double standard on free speech is almost unbelievable. You have to see this with your own eyes. So on August 15th of this year, Olivia says hate speech is still free speech. Cry about it. Then one day ago, she says, I feel like a Karen with the amount of calls I've made to employers. Anyway, back at it again today. She then went on Newsmax and said, I've contacted over 706 employers and delegated hundreds of other submissions to people who offered to help. I will not stand for the vile, hateful comments made about Charlie Kirk and his wife. But I'm confused because just 1 month ago she was defending hateful comments towards other people. What changed? It's very clear the MAGA crowd only cares about free speech when they agree with it. But this guy pointed out something that I think is true as well, saying normally when a civil rights leader passes away, their supporters spend days reciting their greatest quotes and preachings. So it's notable that the right has devoted the past 2 days to trying to get Olive Garden waitresses fired for critical TikToks while avoiding his body of work. To finish off here, he once said it was a mistake to pass the Civil Rights Act in 1964. He called Martin Luther King Jr. awful and said he was not a good person. He's also demonized the LGBTQ plus community multiple times and defended stoning them. And he also, of course, said the Second Amendment is worth the amount of people that lose their lives to firearms. Keep in mind, he's saying that while firearms are the #1 reason children pass away in this country.
So the Deputy Secretary of State is trying to police people's opinions of Charlie Kirk. So this is the Twitter feed for the Deputy Secretary of State. Okay, this is an official government person that has, control over immigration policy in this country. And he says that people who are here legally on a visa, not illegal immigrants, here legally, if they're making fun of Charlie Kirk online, that they're going to try to use that to revoke their visas. Now, of course, if someone makes fun of the Democrats who got executed for a political assassination in Minnesota, there's no mention of that. I responded to him, and of course he didn't respond. So if you make fun of right-wing people, visa revoked. If you make fun of left-wing people, nobody cares in the government. Apparently, that's illegal, viewpoint-based discrimination under the First Amendment. The government cannot take particular viewpoints when they're giving out benefits and services. That's just so blatantly obvious. And, you know, when you go through and you look, it's like there's a people like ratting on others. I know this guy from South Africa. I know this person from Brazil, and they said this about Kirk. And then this Deputy Secretary of State somehow has the time to respond to these shit posters. Unbelievable.
Donald Trump inadvertently called his followers not educated. In fact, he said, smart people don't like me. This mimics kind of what he said in 2016 when he said, I love the poorly educated. Again, calling his followers poorly educated. This would also explain why Donald Trump, for example, is trying to get rid of places like the Department of Education, as well as trying to remove federal funding to places like Harvard and other universities across the country. You see, the reason why Donald Trump does not like the educated people is because he understands that they will call him out any chance they get when he mentions something that's just patently untrue. For example, like Peter Navarro saying tariffs are tax cuts. Any kind of educated person, quite frankly, anybody with a high school education would understand that tariffs are not tax cuts. By necessity, tariffs are an actual tax on imported goods. We also saw where Donald Trump earlier last week realized, and he even kind of said it, that if the tariffs from the IEEPA are overturned at the Supreme Court level, guess what? He has to give back all of that money back to these companies. But you see, this is why Donald Trump loves the uneducated, because they won't question him on any of his terrible economic policies. They will just go along with whatever he says.
So Trump goes on Fox News and they ask him, in the wake of everything that has happened this week with the incident in Utah, how we can fix the country. And Trump's response was, I could care less. And for the first time in both of Trump's terms, he has told the truth. I have made so many videos talking to MAGA and Trump supporters and pointing out the fact that Trump does not care about this country, that he only cares about himself, and he only cares about his own pocket and the pockets of his billionaire friends. And he went on national TV and declared, I could care less how to fix this country. If that doesn't tell you everything that you need to know about this man, for a sitting president to state that they don't care about fixing this country shows a level of incompetence that we have never seen coming from the White House. I don't see how anybody, any of his supporters, can even follow him anymore after he declared that he could care less about fixing this country. That tells you everything that you need to know. That tells you the character of this man. That tells you that he doesn't really give a shit about this nation. He only cares about how things make him look, how things can benefit his pocket, how things can enhance and further his agenda, his policies, his bank accounts, his buddies' bank accounts. He doesn't really care about the American people. He said it himself, I could care less about how to fix America. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure to like, share, follow for more.
People are calling out Trump, the MAGA folks, and the MAGA administration for the mountain of hypocrisy. After Charlie Kirk's assassination, they showed endless respect and solidarity, yet some of these voices stayed silent when kids were gunned down in schools. When black people and brown lives were lost, they still stayed silent. They are mourning selectively and people are seeing it. MAGA voters cheered when safety nets were being stripped from the minorities, but now these same cuts are hitting them and they are now suddenly crying foul. Well, the double standards even go further. They want punishment for anyone mocking Charles Kirk's death while they fail to speak out when it happened to the Democrats. On the other hand, Trump is telling the American people to forget about the Epstein files while he still clings on to the 2020 elections lies that the elections were not fair. In the end, people say that MAGA is built on a system of racism, sexism, and division that is now turning against them. They are now losing their freedoms, their healthcare, and they are now even losing their credibility. Trump is not uniting the country with all that is going about the Charlie Kirk's death, but he is pushing the country to the further ends of chaos and division. America now feels like a pressure cooker that is about to blow.
Take a listen to how Trump's own voters are describing their own emotions right now on right-wing political call-in shows.
I feel really betrayed, and I feel really, really angry. We have a president who tells us to move on from Epstein because it doesn't matter. Are you guys still talking about this seriously? And yet he still talks about the 2020 election fraud. He talks about the Hunter Biden laptop. He talks about all this stuff from 5-6 years ago, and he tells us to move on from the Epstein trial or the Epstein case. People like me will not stop talking about this. I feel so betrayed and so angry. This is not what I voted for.
I'm concerned about being able to trust Donald Trump to keep his word. In his campaign, he said he was going to let us know all of the facts about this. And now he's saying, go away, don't pay attention to it.
These Epstein files, we were told that there was going to be released. There was this client list that was going to be released. And the fact that it's suddenly gone away and he's trying to gaslight us is like a punch in the gut to MAGA.
You motherfucking animals! You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animals! You are so hateful in your hearts to go out and shoot a young man who's never hurted anyone.
Ooh, wow, honey. That's a lot of hate for somebody you've never met and who probably spewed just as much hate as you are right now. Now, let's start with the obligatory first grammar note. What you meant to say was never hurt anyone. Never hurted anyone is reserved for children still formulating language at the age of toddler. And second, let's talk about who you're defending. You have not walked this rhetoric back one bit, except for deleting that video. Sorry, I can't. Oh my God, I can't stop laughing about that. But no, you're continuing to blame liberals, despite the fact that it's already been established that the shooter was raised in a Trumper family who loved guns. He was brought up around guns from a very tiny age. And on top of that, he lived in a very, very white conservative state. And on top of that, he was a groyper, which means he followed Nick Fuentes. Do you know who Nick Fuentes is? Let's give you a reminder right here.
Feel when we control your bodies? Hey, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again. Okay, men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
Now, does that look like a leftist to you? Does that person look like a leftist to you? And if you have any debate whatsoever about whether the shooter was a groyper, there's so much evidence that cannot be disputed. So maybe you should pay more attention to all of the information available to you for free on the internet, including about correct grammar usage. Then maybe you might settle down a bit when it comes to your posts on the internets and the interwebs. Because, gosh, you look so stupid. And maybe the biggest red flag of all is you saying to us on the left that we are the ones with hate in our hearts. My girl, please go back and watch your video again and recognize just how incredibly hypocritical that is. That's all. Take care, love. I'm sure you're getting all the attention you deserve.
I'm going to make this TikTok to go out to the people who we all know have an inability to listen or have ability to comprehend what people are saying to them. They think everybody is out to get them. We all know them. We all are tired of them. It's MAGA. I'm going to tell you like this. There's going to come a day when everything you do right now is going to be answerable. You're going to have to answer to this racism that I'm seeing a big trend of happening everywhere. You're going to have to answer for the sexism I'm seeing. You're going to have to answer for these poor mistakes you've made and what you've voted in and what you think is good right now that's going to end up being bad. It's going to go badly for you. It is. It's going to go badly for you. I know people are telling you, yelling at you, and you're just not listening. You think you're drinking those liberal tears. I'm not liberal. I'm not. I have no interest in that. I'm not conservative because I believe that I should be able to make my opinion without having a tag to it. I mean, you bank so highly on giving yourself a tag. You all have this rallying a cry that you're being abused from all these people in all these sections, and everyone is just out to get you, and they don't know what's good. You gotta sit down and ask yourself. I mean, really, besides what Trump Daddy tells you, you really need to learn to think for yourself. Why would all these people be telling you over and over and over this is bad? You think they just want it to be bad? Oh, everyone's mistaken, but this small population of people, your own numbers are turning against you. Your own politicians are turning against you, but you're believing this man who can't even tell the truth about what height he is. The insanity. I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills watching you people. And I feel bad because there's people I know and love who are on that kick, are so far on that side that they won't hear reason. And I've tried to talk reason, and it's severely damaged my relationship with them. To the point, like right now, as it sits, I don't want them around me. I don't want them, like, hanging around on me. I really can't trust what they say. I question their humanity. I mean, especially now, you guys are celebrating that big, beautiful bill being passed, and it's going to cause big, beautiful consequences, and it's coming for you really, really fast, and you don't see it coming. There's this mindset that the Republicans have pushed for decades, that all people on Medicaid, all people on food stamps are lazy. They're not all lazy. There are people, the majority are hard workers. The majority are people who are the working poor, which many of you guys are, and you're not seeing that. You're not seeing that. You're seeing the TikTok ones who are bragging about going to Crumble Cookie to get cookies. That is a small percentage. Some of those people they even suspect of lying about even being on food stamps. They may not be on food stamps at all. They may be doing it for clout. But, I mean, then my question becomes, do you believe everything you see online? I mean, is it your first day, first week? But I'm going to tell you, you're coming up on consequences. You are going to spend, when this shit comes to fruition and it turns out bad, are you prepared the rest of your life to be constantly apologizing, to watch relationships you have turn to shit underneath you? People not want to be associated with you. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I know it'll play into some of your victim complexes and how you want to be seen as victims in this big world. And you're not. You're not. Many of you are not. I was watching a video a little while ago about people talking about if they lose Medicaid. One guy who voted for Trump, his whole family did. That if Medicaid goes bye-bye, he goes bye-bye. His medicine without insurance is $20,000 a month. He's got type 1 diabetes. He is morbidly obese. He's going to lose his insurance. He's going to lose it. And what's going to happen is this, okay? He's going to be an example. If they can't get their medicine, what's going to happen is they're not going to just die. They're going to start going into hospitals to get treated a lot more than they would have if they had been properly medicated, which is going to be a bill that's going to be shouldered upon the people who can't afford to pay their bills. Hospitals will raise the prices. It is going to explode in the amount of people who are going to be going into hospitals to get treated. And I know some of you will say, well, then don't treat them if they don't have insurance. Is that really the route you want to go down? Because trust me, that could easily be you in one major illness. You have no idea what can of worms you're opening. You are going to suffer and you won't listen. And what kills me about the whole MAGA group is this, unless it affects me, it doesn't matter. So people are crying on here, old people are crying on here about they're going to lose their benefits, they're going to lose their food stamps, they're going to lose their Medicaid, they're going to lose their Medicare. And they think it's okay. And you think it's okay because they're probably lazy, or, oh, wait, those are old people, they shouldn't matter. Oh, collateral damage, that's how it is. I want to hear that same energy out of your chest when it's your grandmother, it's your grandmother, it's your mother, it's your father. I want to hear that same exact energy. When they get cut off, I want you to make a video, and I want you to sit there and say, oh, well, collateral damage, when they're dying in front of you, or they're always in the hospital, they're in and out of the hospital, or they have diabetes and they can't afford their insulin, because trust me, insulin is insane. You should be questioning more things like, why is the president not going after big pharma who is treating medicine like it's a want, not a need, treating life like it doesn't matter. And we have these go hard bootlicking cheerleaders that will root for billionaires who don't care about them. You could be burning alive in the street and they will drive over you because there's a sale down the street at a gas station and they have to get that latest drink. You need to wake up. You really need to wake up. I'm not saying all of you are stupid, but there's a good amount of you that are, and you better fucking wake up. I don't want to hear out of you. I don't want your private messages. I just want you to sit and think. And if you really think it's not going to affect you, then keep that energy. Keep that energy. If you lose your job, if you lose your insurance, if you lose anything like that, nobody cares and no one feels bad for you. You chose this. This is what you get. Have a nice day.
So let's just recap on what's going on right now, aside from the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, because a lot of us have forgotten the plot. Donald Trump said before the election that he was going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Much like when he met during his first term with Kim Jong-un, making it this big historical meeting, and then all he did was give concessions away to Kim Jong-un. He gave Putin this big Alaskan summit and talked about how he was going to bring peace between them and Ukraine, and all the peace talks have basically fallen apart. Now Russia's bombarding them worse than ever. So the great deal maker fails again. Trump is still dodging questions about Jeffrey Epstein and trying to ignore the issue, trying to get his followers and fellow Republicans to tell everyone that Trump was an FBI informant against Epstein, but Trump is also claiming the whole thing is a hoax. So how can those two things be true at the same time? Meanwhile, Louisiana voters just rejected 4 constitutional amendments that were being pushed by the Republicans and Donald Trump. And these things were rejected bipartisanly by the people. Both liberals and conservative religious figures opposed it because it liquidated educational trust funds, and the religious people cared that it took away protections and tax breaks for religious institutions. And just remember, Trump ran on the message that he was going to end all wars and he was not going to have any new wars. Meanwhile, he's already attacked Iran, Yemen, a Venezuelan boat that he claimed had drug lords on it that he gave no due process to. He is completely underwater in every single aspect, from the economy to foreign policy to immigration. Weekly unemployment applications in this country are at their highest point since the peak of COVID, and 2/3 of this country have finally admitted that Trump is making their prices go up.
Oh, and farmers are going out of business because of the tariffs, as Trump and J.D. Vance have actually invested in companies that want to buy up that land from farmers. So he's actually bankrupting these people on purpose.
Allegedly.
Just another day in the American hellscape.
I just wanted to take a second to thank all the creators, all the thought leaders, all the posters on social media that are standing up for our country, for the United States, to save the United States of America from Trump and his cronies. And also to remind everyone of something you already know, but we're in this fight 24 hours a day, and it's exhausting. And I know that you know that, but just remember that Trump is just the head of the snake. Trump is a useful idiot for all these people behind him that want to turn America into a theocracy. Not because they're religious. They want to do it so they can use the Bible and religion to hold over people to say, well, it's in the Bible, so you must do it. You must do everything that's in the Bible. They don't believe in the Bible. They're using it to control the average person. I think you know that. But just remember that Trump will be gone soon. Trump's almost 80 years old. He's not going to last forever. But he's just a useful idiot for a lot of other people behind him that are a lot smarter than Trump. So even when Trump is gone, the threat still exists. We've got this window, you guys. And again, I'm telling you something you already know. But just as a reminder, we've got this window between now and the midterms. And if the Republicans, the sycophants for Trump, if they win the midterms and they continue to control, Trump will never leave office. He will be there forever. You think he's building that ballroom?
In a shocking comment on Fox and Friends on Friday, the convicted criminal Donald J. Trump appeared to use Charlie Kirk's assassination to explicitly designate political violence as a partisan issue by defending the violent right-wing extremists as sharing his political goals, bringing down crime, and the left-wing extremists as the problem. Okay, this coming from a convicted criminal. Okay, he's looking for crime. All right. If you agree that we need to remove Trump peacefully in 8647, follow me, and we must find ways to remove him after the 2026 midterm elections.
The President of the United States went on Fox and Friends and said he doesn't care what happens to this country. The President of the United States said he doesn't care. He does not care. He is fanning the flames, right? I think he's the only president in the United States history who would not try to de-escalate and turn the temperature down in this situation. It's driving me crazy. He's cranking it up. His followers are cranking it up. Charlie Kirk's followers are cranking it up. Nick Fuentes, his followers are cranking it up. The governor of Utah said, I was praying it wasn't one of us. I was praying someone drove in from out of state. I was praying someone flew in from another country. The subtext of that is I was praying it wasn't a white man who killed this white man that we're all idolizing now, that we're trying to make a martyr of. My dad made a perfect comparison, and I think everyone should hear it. He said, it feels like we're in a pressure cooker right now. If you've never used a pressure cookers heat from all different directions, and that's why they work so quickly, right? You can use them to cook rice and chicken, and type it into TikTok, you'll find something, right? But you have to let the steam out, and you have to let it out carefully, or you will get burnt. And usually the administration's job would be to let the steam out, to call for unity, to call for nonviolence. And yet the president is saying he doesn't care. And he doesn't, right? He hasn't cared what happens to this country ever. I don't know if you remember the first phone call that Trump made after 9/11. He said it was a good day for him because now his building was the tallest in New York again. Yeah. We have to find a way to turn the temperature down a bit, to not let the accelerationists win, and I don't know exactly how to do that. I don't.
Yo, in today's episode of As the White Hood Turns, have y'all seen that clip that's circulating on social media of Syphilitic Sid? The clip where he says, smart people don't like me. I'm going to tell you what. That is the first true thing I believe that man has ever said. He went on to say a few more ridiculous things. You know, they asked him some questions about the deceased and whatnot. And of course, you know, he just was his usual babbling self, you know. But can we talk about the fact that first he said he loves the poorly educated. And now he's saying the quiet part out loud that he knows smart people would never vote for him and smart people don't like him. I love this. I love that he's either always known or he's just getting to that realization. And I think this is why he goes to spaces where the poorly educated can't go. Because he's trying to make smart people like him. I don't think it's working. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this compilation eye-opening, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with other more people so that they can see what is really happening. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, take care, and stay informed. Bye-bye.